This is her retweeting somebody else's freak out over hers.
All right. So yeah,
first
this
tweet.
is this person. Let's look at this first tweet. In case you were wondering, Gina Carano has lost her damn mind. I don't know who this person is. I don't care. So I mean,
they haven't blocked you yet, darn it.
Afra. Oh, good. He'll block me now. I love getting blocked on Twitter. It's so much fun. So Gina has lost her mind because of the tweet that we just had up on the screen a moment ago that we covered before the super chat run. So let's cover this one. Pro, take it away. You want to read that?
Sure. Let me go to my screen so I can see a little better. Here we go. Do you want me to do it in the voice of Gina Carano? I'm not sure I can be that stunning and brave, but here we go.
No,
Gina Carano says,
cleaning up some of these super chats.
do you always call a woman crazy just because she has more firsthand experience than you and says something you don't like or understand? Bit misogynistic, don't you think? Tisk, tisk. Curious if your overlords pay you, or do y'all just go ahead and shove your whole head straight up their ass for free? My guess, for free. Might want to come out for some fresh air. It's a poo-poo joke. For some added context, not just for you, but for the people reading, I inserted that joke. One of the things your overlords asked me to do was to unfollow certain accounts because they said bad things about Kathleen Kennedy. That was a huge red flag for me. If I were the head of one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world, I would know that haters come with the territory and that maybe the haters are expressing their thoughts because they actually care, and caring is a good thing because as long as they care, well, hey, we still have something to work with. Maybe we can win their hearts back eventually, and maybe they do have some good things to add to the conversation, which they do and did. And at the very least, they are still buying the product. Look at Mando Season 1. Boom! The healing had begun. If you are a proper good leader, you learn how to embrace and communicate, not dictate in silence and demand your actors and directors and follow and shame more than half of your fan base and the people who have stuck with the franchise for decades. Side note, don't say the Force is female and then only allow the men to express their political views online. In fact, just drop the ridiculous phrase completely. One of the problems your overlords are having now is that they've made a lot of people completely stop caring about one of the most beloved franchises in history, all by bullying, pushing aggressive agendas, and trying to silence the people criticizing them. How are they able to tell stories they don't understand when the ones they identify with are the Empire? They are literally trying to squash the little guys, the rebellion. No wonder the storytelling is struggling. They fired and dehumanized people like me who did absolutely nothing wrong, all to virtue signal to people like you, the yes men. But yes men, unfortunately for you and them, do not drive culture. Maybe they were banking on the kids picking up the slack, but one of the best things about this franchise is passing it from generation to share. The competition is too high to throw out something as valuable as that. Why would one generation pass it on when you've disrespected and thrown them away? Your overlords tried to hide behind the two opposing fan bases fighting each other instead of taking responsibility. They encourage the hate, all while virtue signaling they are standing up for minorities, but instead using them as a shield and weapon. Funny enough, just how our government works. They think people will forget, and yes, maybe they will, but for this moment, they have heard the people's voice and shook them. They're choosing to stick with their weak leadership who couldn't handle YouTubers saying mean things online when all it would have taken is true leadership to step in, take the reins, take some responsibility, stop discriminating, apologize about the things that you have done wrong. Step completely out of politics, be truly inclusive, and they'd be back in business. Until then, they're stuck with you, the yes men, and they're plummeting stock. I'm not saying I'm right on all fronts, but I am open-hearted and refused to discriminate based off of powerful people telling me how to think and act. And if there was something I needed to apologize for, I would have in a heartbeat, but I didn't say or do anything wrong. People come up to me daily to shake my hand and thank me for taking a stand, even people who think differently. One thing is true. Good leadership makes for a better world, leading to healthier and happier people and better opportunity. Looking around, we are watching the devastating effects of what bad leadership can do worldwide. Respect my authority.
Thank you, Pro.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I was having a little technical issue in the background there. I had got my headphones wrapped around the base of my chair, and I couldn't get them back on. I don't do it. But I mean, look, this is it's quite the response to a simple, hey, Gina lost her mind, and I find no fault. Culture, Tom, Mike, thoughts?
Well, we know she's brilliant. This is a brilliant response. Jay's response around this was interesting. I'd never heard of this person. Apparently it's a podcast person. So, it's kind of an amazing shutdown on her part. And, to be fair, and she was alluding to the fact that this person is part of a group of people that are out there to promote Disney. Some of them do it free, some of them do it for pay. That's not news, but a lot of people may not be aware of it. And every point that she made, one by one, she illustrated very well with examples. This is an example of a persuasive argument technique, and she's going to win more people over than she loses. And boy, don't we need more people like that on social media.
Yeah, and I love how she just kind of goes right into it and hits him between the eyes first, and then goes into the, okay, now let's go point by point. And it's like, curious, do y'all get paid, or you just shove your head straight up their ass for free? Her words. Come out for some fresh air. It probably stinks up there. What color is the sky up your ass? That kind of thing. So, and then she goes into this point by point stuff. And this is what I like. Mike, Tom,
you first.
I mean, she is basically backing up the shit she just said before. Like you guys just said, she had predicted these guys were going to come out of the woodwork. I think Jay had commented right underneath this that this individual is one of those who freaks out if somebody doesn't agree with the mind think, basically, in so many words. There it is. Pete attacks anyone and everyone who doesn't agree with him. So the Star Wars YouTubers whom he thinks are his friends laugh at him behind his back. Wow, Jay's saying this? It's pathetic. He does this and tries to gain traction for a failed podcast. And he also has small people or people.
That's not people.
And he's proud about it.
Yeah, it's not people.
Wow. Yeah, well, I tried to clean it up for you.
Oh, well, it's a small peepee is the least of my concerns.
This also reminds me of the episode where Cartman is revealed to have
especially when you're
small
in prison.
peepee.
That's why I was talking about those small peepee again. We're back to that episode. I thought we forgot that episode. You guys suck. Screw you, Disney. I'm going home.
Yeah. So I mean, Jay obviously knows who this guy is. I don't know the podcasters in the Disney. I call them the Diztards. That's just what they are. Pixie dusters, as Jay calls them. The ones, not the ones who cover Disney, but the ones who fall on their knees at the altar of the mouse and worship everything that comes out of that company like it's a deity. And yes, I'm not exaggerating out there. A lot of the people in this audience know exactly what I'm talking about. Probably some panelists know exactly what I'm talking about for sure. But yeah, you get people that are like that there is anything that Disney does is right. Anything that you say against Disney is wrong. And you're immediately a hater for calling into question anything, or whether it's bad practices or bad decisions, or in the case of what happened with Gina, malicious intent, what they did to her. So, but I mean, you going through this, going back up to the full comment here, and my screen is freaking out again. But that being said, you look at here, for some added context, not just for you, but for the people reading, one of the things your overlords asked me to do was unfollow certain accounts because they, quote, said bad things about Kennedy. That was a huge red flag. Yeah.
How many Disney employees just had to unsub from South Park?
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going with that.
Yep. We think alike.
Yeah, I know.
How would you like to be this guy who's the views are not great, okay? We're not trying to make fun of anybody, and everybody has to get started from somewhere. And we all had, started off with low views at one point. But how would you like to be this guy who is in that position and comes out against a bona fide celebrity and says, nah, boo-boo, you don't, you're crazy. And then she destroys you.
Yeah.
Just absolutely puts you on notice. Man. It's awesome.
You got put on blast, man. I
mean,
this is
good.
Now, and that's I said that's the only crappy part is that I wish she had just did the edit photo button and scratched out with red marker his name so he wouldn't get the free advertising. But hey, you know what? Throw him under the bus. Screw it. And that's the one thing is this guy has the audacity to come out and either actually clapped back at Gina Carano for telling her own story, or the guy's so stupid he didn't understand that she was telling her own story in that tweet. It's
That's
either one or the
probably,
other.
yeah.
It's one or
That's
the other.
probably what
Like,
happened.
he didn't read between. He like you didn't pick up on what she was laying down there, Chief. That was her story. That's why she said what she said. And he probably just took it as her being serious, but about going after South Park and making him do that, but not realizing that no, this is what Disney actually does. But I had never heard this part of it before. Was that she was asked to unfollow certain accounts, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I guess is what she's referring to.
I bet I can guess which accounts.
Do you think Donald Trump might have been one of them?
I was going to start pointing at G and G and J.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, that too. I was start. I mean, she was following Trump. Sure, but I mean, that's the kind of thing. My point is it was politically charged, is what I was getting at. It was politically charged.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember,
it's all political for these people.
Yeah, I mean, Geeks and Gamers was probably already in that political zeitgeist for Disney. I mean, eyeballing them because they'd been around a while. Same thing with Gary for Nerdrotic. But I mean, remember at the time that really happened, I mean, she and Jay had known each other for what, maybe 6 months, a few months, something like that. It wasn't that long. So I don't know how connected she was to that whole crew at that point outside of Jay. That's why I'm saying it's probably more politically oriented, because remember, that's what got her in trouble, right? Was she gave
an interview.
Yeah. Well, she made an allegedly politically charged post that the politics at Lucasfilm, Kathy, didn't like. And now we're finding out she was told that she had to unfollow certain accounts. Like I said, you can take a guess at what some of those accounts would have been based on her.
Get back in the bubble. Get back in the bubble, Gina.
Imagine what it's like working at a company like Disney that's supposed to be a creative company, a company that claims themselves to be great storytellers, which is for them nothing more than a marketing line, right? There's no actual serious great storytelling there. I'll be honest with you, I don't even think Disney believes their own BS on that one anymore, to be very frank. I don't think they believe their own crap.
Well, remember, Valiant, we had someone that you and I have both talked to personally who said that Disney HR was calling folks in back at a certain point in time, having talks about their social media accounts if they made any statement that was not far to the political left.
Yep.
And I think we believe that individual. They're probably out there listening right now.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Can't say, folks, sorry. But that being said, I'd never seen this story from Gina before. So, I mean, she gets called in. Imagine this. She gets called into an office. She gets called into a room. This is what she's saying on Twitter now. She's putting her story out there with 45 people, some in the room, some on Zoom calls, but in the room together to have to sit there and basically shame her. They wanted to have her sit there and be shamed by other people that were offended by her personal opinion.
Right. It's a reverse confession in every way.
Yeah. And for what? Because she asked a question about, trans related issues.
Think about that for a minute, though. It is. Yeah. It's a reverse confession. So in a confession in the Catholic faith, you go and you tell what you've done wrong to the priest, and the priest listens, and it's a private thing, and it allows you to express what you have sinned. And in this case, it's the full reverse. It's public. It's with many. They condemn you rather than you expressing what has happened on your side. It's in every way possible. It's awful what they were going to do. It's a public shaming.
It's like walking into the confessional, not for salvation, but for damnation.
Yes, exactly.
it's terrible. But I mean, it's what they used to call like a struggle session. Where you'd go in and Culture knows what I'm talking about.
And you're the struggle. You're the struggle,
exactly.
Gina.
Exactly. And I mean, that's when she knew. She's like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out. And then it wasn't long after that when she's like, nope, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm not doing all this crap. I'm not going to be treated this way. And then they said, well, Gina Carano's not going to be here anymore. They waited for the next excuse to come up. And then when she made the tweet, or not the tweet, I guess it was on Instagram, wasn't it? She made the post Not long after this, and I'm going to tell you why, that this is starting to make sense now. They wanted her to unfollow, right? Think about this. Lucasfilm wants her to unfollow certain Twitter accounts because of political opinions, right? That's what she's saying, right? So
With you.
that struggle session, that 45 people in a room was related, I believe, to comments she had made before that final Instagram post. The Instagram post that the next day she was let go for was saying how, something to the effect of, it's no different what we're seeing today when we try to silence certain people's opinion or criminalize certain opinions than what we saw during the Weimar Republic in the mid-1930s in Central Europe, right? Which, frankly, is
Today
an
is aging
accurate
well.
comparison. It is an accurate comparison.
Especially
Now,
as of right now.
yes. So they, according to this, they tried to do this to her. They tried to criminalize, or at least at Lucasfilm, in her employment, okay, if you can think of it that way. They tried to punish her for her opinion. They tried to bring her into a brainwashing session with, 45 disgruntled employees that don't think that she had the right to have the opinion that she had. She said no. She then apparently makes a post on Instagram a few days after that happened, and whammo bammo, she's out. And she made the post about this very thing. And the people at Lucasfilm just said she didn't want to do our struggle session, and she's posting about us saying that we're compared to the N-word and not, you know which one I'm talking about, the them Weimar Republic German people from 1930s. They're
like, hey, that's our job.
Yeah, she's comparing us to them for doing exactly the same thing that they did in the 30s. This was before all the really terrible
That's
stuff.
our word.
It was the
And
lead-in, right?
It came to pass. We live in a
Very
world today where
true.
if you wear a yarmulke, you feel unsafe right now. And if you have Jewish friends out there, go talk to them and see if they feel safe out in public. It's a rough world right now, and we need to be exceedingly kind to those who feel as if they could be at any moment targeted. Actually targeted, not, oh no, somebody reached out to me on Facebook and called me a meanie head. No, we're talking about really, people feeling threatened.
Can I ask a question real quick? Let's go back to this, because I'm about to listen up, Lors. About to wreck your world. Let me remove this 1 second. I have a question, folks. I want everybody's opinion. It seems abundantly clear now that, she was absolutely fired, or I should say fired. They failed to renew her contract, right? I want to use the legal terms here.
At a time when they had a show designated for her to be the lead, and it was
yes.
Yes,
and
everything was connected to it.
Not to proceed forward any further, and that her character would be erased from Star Wars canon moving forward. Her show would be erased from Star Wars canon moving forward. They decided to punish Gina Carano violating her First Amendment, right? In their world, how they're saying it, right? Because she was being punished. Now, granted, I know the First Amendment applies to government punishment, right? But they did to Gina Carano, straight up did to Gina Carano what they are now bitching about with no merit. The state of Florida did to them in the Reedy Creek situation. They are fans. Disney actually did what they were accusing Florida of doing.
They are fans of authoritarian speech control to everyone who is underneath them. They are openly and falsely proponents of diversity, but only when diversity is something that you didn't choose. It's a part of you that you didn't choose. The minute that it becomes diversity of thought, they despise it, and it is no longer allowed.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.